Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Black Link Experience. My name is Marva B. Subscribe, like, and share. Leave your comments below. Hit that bell for notifications for stories like these and others. We are welcoming Mr. Larry Sanders. He is a former NBA player who retired in 2015, came back for a short while in 2017, and ultimately left the league in 2017 to take care of his mental health. He is currently an advocate for mental health and is also a music producer and is in the fashion world. Please help me welcome Mr. Larry Sanders. I'm so excited for this interview. We have Mr. Larry Sanders with us, who is a former NBA player, retired, and moved on to other things. And we're going to get right into it. Larry, thank you so much for being at Black Link Magazine.
No, thank you for having me.
Yeah, glad to have you here. So if you would just kind of briefly tell the people who you are and what you do, introduce yourself.
Yes, so my name is Larry Sanders II. I played in the NBA for 6 years for Milwaukee Bucks. I played for the Cleveland Cavaliers as well. I retired in 2016 because the NBA didn't have a very good mental health policy at the time. There was nothing really in place to provide help for anyone suffering from anything. So I took it upon my own self to seek my own help. I had to step away from the game in order to do that. And it's been great since I've been a mental health advocate. Started Sanders House, which is my foundation, and it helps bring mental health resources to athletes, to children. We do reform, re-entry to the community for people who have been incarcerated, which is all mental health, so, anti-bullying, stop the violence. We do stuff like that as well. Just everything stems back to, making sure our community gets the mental health assistance that it needs, every community, but, ours for sure. Yeah, that's kind of been my mission since I retired. I didn't have much of a support system. I didn't have much of a lot of help when I was in the league, but I was successful on the court, but off the court, my life was in shambles, so I want to provide that. I want to give people that and address that issue going forward so that players won't have the same, issue that I have. So it's kind of my mission now.
That's amazing. And I want to get into that as well, because, with us on the outside looking in at an NBA player, NBA star, like you started the game, you were a first round pick. You did very well. And the money's nice. And so when we look from the outside, we're like, why did he quit so early? He was good. What was going on? We couldn't see the things from behind the scenes. So let's just go back a little bit. You enter into your junior year, right? You enter into the NBA. What are some of the things that you had to deal with behind the scenes, like, or even on the court? Like, what caused this to happen other than there wasn't support for it?
Well, support is a huge thing. When I say that, I mean, when you don't have a solid support system and you go into a situation like that, you have to start paying for support. You have to start hiring support. And we all know how that can go, right? You can get robbed, you can get manipulated, you can get taken advantage of. We were children. I was a child. I was a boy with a lot of money. And everyone who's supposed to be kind of supporting me or guiding me became a dependent.
Yep.
And I became the ultimate leader of my family, at this young age. And I wasn't prepared for that. And I didn't know how to continuously put myself first. I didn't know how to healthily cope with things, gravitated to what money could provide for me. And that's usually what a lot of people do. It's the easy way out. And no one really says no. It's encouraged because others get to also live that life as well, and not have the same repercussions. So it's a very, very scary place to be. If you don't have guidance and support and someone who truly, truly has your best interest without, a grain of salt. So, that just matters. That deeply does. My father, he's older. He passed away a few years ago, but he was older in age. So a lot of things it's a disconnect when it came to a lot of what I had been going through and what he had been going through. So, of course, he had been there in a sense to support, but he couldn't provide much guidance and protection. You
Right.
know, my mom, she dealt with a lot of hood habits, and money only makes hood habits worse if you don't correct them. You know what I mean? So it made things worse when it came to her because I wanted to give her the world, and it turned into a deep addiction.
Mhm.
Um, so fighting that off the court, trying to get her into rehab, trying to address those issues. And then I picked up marijuana. I started smoking weed my second year in the NBA, which was a banned substance. So
You had
while
never done that before then?
never in my life, never picked up a joint before I was 22 years
Oh,
old. And I started doing it because all the other players were doing it, and it was helping. It was helping with pain, sleep, anxiety, but it was counteracting because it was a banned substance. So while I'm doing this to cope, I'm also getting chastised and suspended and thrown in rehab. I have been thrown in rehab for 3 summers in a row,
mhm.
like drug rehab, yeah, where people were deep addicts, heroin, and I was there for marijuana. They would be looking at me like,
Why?
what? Even the therapist. So I dealt with that, 90 days.
So the NBA said you need to go into rehab for smoking weed.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah. So 90 days here, 45 days here. And it was taking away my summers. I had 2 children, I had a young daughter and a young son. And it was they just were consuming my life. And I couldn't even breathe to manage what was going on because I was, thrown in and out of these situations. And then I couldn't see my money. I was in this cloud and I was like, I got to get out of here. Like I'm going to drown and I'm going to fall on my face or I'm going to crash out and I'm going to be a laughing stock. And my name's gonna be tarnished, and my kids are gonna have to, go to school and deal with that. And I was like, nah, this thing gonna spit me up and chew me out if I don't uh take a hold of my life.
Right. So you in 2015, you
16.
2016
Well,
you
15, yeah, that December.
came back, right? So 2015, but then what brought you back?
I hadn't touched basketball for 2 years. Like I literally had not touched a ball. I didn't pick one up. I didn't shoot one. I didn't own one. I went straight into my passion work. I started an artist incubator. I was housing homeless artists for 2 years in LA. I had a screenwriter, a fashion designer, a musician, a model. And I was helping them do LLC work, website design,
Oh,
um, product stuff. It was so dope. We did projects together, went and shot documentaries. It was amazing. It was like everything I wanted to do. And then I got to a point where, like I said, I hadn't touched the ball in 2 years. And I think I kind of had to prove something to myself a little bit. It was a lot of like, could he come back? And I left because I wanted to leave. I knew I could still play if I wanted to. And, I picked up a ball and I think within like 3 to 4 months, I was playing for the Cavaliers.
so you just walked back on and said, I want to play, and they just took you back?
Well, when I said I wanted to come back, I worked out. I had private workouts from Boston to Golden State to Miami, and my last workout was Cleveland. And I work out for them, and I go in the locker room to change. I come out of the shower, and they got a contract for me. Yeah. So that was awesome. That was dope. But I believe they had, if I could go back, I maybe would have explored my options a little more because they just had a lot of internal issues at the time. They had LeBron, they didn't know what they're gonna do with him. Kyrie, LeBron and Kyrie ended up leaving after that year.
Yeah.
Um, Kevin Love. There was so many. They were trying to get Kevin Love back in shape. There were so many internal issues. And then they get me, who I've been retired for 2 years. I'm just getting back into this.
Right. Right.
So it was just, if anything, I think they were like, okay, I have to. If we have to unload, let's unload him and try to focus on what we got. And I just think I kind of stepped into, a situation that it was a risky win,
Yeah.
but God don't make mistakes. I retired again and went back out into the field and haven't looked back since.
Yeah. So but since you hadn't looked back since, like you were out for 2 years and you was enjoying life, like you was enjoying what you were doing, you came back and then you out again. Were there any regrets after the
No,
time you left?
no, because when I got back, I was hoping for something different, like maybe, okay, it was a better atmosphere because Cleveland had they were a better organization than Milwaukee when I played for them, just as far as money and stuff like that. But it was that same cloud over me. It was that same, we don't really care who you are, get to know who you are. We don't care. Follow the rules,
Yeah.
and I've never been that kind of person.
Yeah.
I've never been that. I'm not to say I make my own rules, but I lead with my heart and I'm very pure in my intentions. So I don't, anything outside of that may be some constraint or law, but I don't morally attach myself to it
Yeah.
because it's not, it's not real. I may do it because it's a job, like not smoking weed, but at the same time, um, if it's not, I know my quality of life and I know how it was affecting me and what it was bringing
Right.
to the table. And it wasn't an addiction. It wasn't something I did, doing since I was 16 years old. But they had no interest in understanding that. They had no interest in understanding me,
Yeah.
and I understood that's the business, it's factory chain business and you are a chair. And if you got a broke leg,
Yeah.
we're
Yeah.
not gonna fix you. We're gonna go get another chair. And that's the nature of the beast. And I had to understand if I wanted to be a part of it or not.
Yeah, I noticed when I was reading some of your bio, and it was saying that you didn't even have like it was almost like you didn't even have freedom of speech being in the NBA. You couldn't just say what you want to say. You couldn't really be who you wanted to be. And do you feel like a lot of players feel like that, but they're just in it because like the money's good, they've got all these people to take care of. But there are people that feel the same way that you feel in the
For
NBA.
sure. I mean, look at Colin Kaepernick.
Yeah.
And they're making such a prime example out of him to scare anyone else from making a stance going forward. You make a stance, you're not going to have a job. And
Mhm.
we have full control over that because we're owners, right? I hate that name.
Yeah.
I hate the fact that anyone even has that title over you. But, you know, it's a gatekeeping, society where it's built in a certain way for a certain group of people to
Yeah.
benefit. And it is what it is. You just got to realize whether you want to be in it or not, or you want to go, encourage your child, for 20 years to go do something like that. But just know what you're doing and know what they're getting themselves into. And, you
Yeah,
know,
you're right. And I'm just kudos to you for taking control of your own life. Like you could have, like the money's good, right? And you could have said, I'm gonna just stick it out and I'm gonna be miserable because I got all these people. So did at any time it affect your family dynamics? Because as you said, and as I'm pretty sure you making all these millions, right? And people are dependent on you. And
mhm,
you also said you become an ATM like to people, right?
right.
Did that hurt the family dynamics by you backing out, or did everybody clearly say, okay, you know what? That was the best thing for you?
Um, I lost some friends. I lost some really close friends. And my family is my family. They were my family before I got to the NBA. When I was just man, barefoot dancing around
Oh,
here, what I'm saying? That's, the love that, so they were happy for me, but they were more happy that I did something that, for my heart, and of course they had an effect because they benefited off me. I was, they had cars and this and that, but they made sure that like we was okay before, we're gonna be okay after.
all right. That's
We
what
go,
families do.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's what family do, and they reassure me that, and my family's still in my corner. But I did lose some friends that were attached to me, because they had, financial gain. If they were like my manager, I made my best friend growing up, I made him my manager, so um after retirement, we split ways because, I know it had a deep effect on him, but it's I had to do it, it's something I had to do for myself. So
Yeah, you got to take care of you because if you don't take care of you, you can't be good for anything and anyone else. So I think
right.
that, again, congratulations on doing that. And before we move on to the next subject, you said you had a son, and if
Mm.
your son came to you and was like, "Daddy, I want to play basketball. I want to be in the NBA. I want to do it. This is my dream." Do you encourage him or do you discourage him?
I'm his manager. Yeah, we going. But this time when we go, I'm on everybody's head. I know what to do. I know what to look out for. We're gonna do this the right way. We're
Yeah.
gonna do this the right way. Let's
Now
go.
that you know,
Yeah,
yeah.
let's go. I'm with you. I'm with whatever you want to do because you can do whatever you want to do, but we gonna have the knowledge and understanding and support behind it. We're not just gonna jump into it and let our talent sweep us away and put us in a bad position. We gonna make sure we're ready for it. Our mental. There's a lot that goes into that. You want to have money. You want to play on this grand stage. You want people to clap for you. But you got to know it's a dark side to that too. It's a lonely side to that too. It's a very confusing side to that too, where you're trying to find your voice and you're trying to, you know, can you express yourself? What can't you say? There's a lot. There's rules and regulations. It's a society. So
I saw that. I was like, he's expressing that he can't even say, like, it's like a machine. Like you said, I feel like a product, right? I have to do what these people tell me to do. I got to say what they want me to say. And if I say the wrong thing, this might happen. And it's not just in the NBA, it's in entertainment. I speak to A and B, C-list celebrities all the time. And that's their thing is like, it looks good from you looking inside, but you ain't behind the scenes and you don't know what we go through, and it's dark, like it's a
right.
dark side. And so
Had I, had I stayed in the NBA, I think I would have been. I don't think they really probably would have had a guy like me because I got to the point where, I would have been so outspoken. I don't know if they would have knew what to do with me.
yeah.
You think Kyrie is bad. Like, if
Yeah.
Kyrie is Martin Luther King, I'm Malcolm X. And
Oh, yeah.
they would have really heard some things. And I wouldn't have been afraid to take no knee, to get fined,
Right.
none of that, because
Right.
I was already ready to leave the money.
Yeah.
So, but I decided to really focus on myself.
Good.
I want to, if I'm going to attack the beast, I'm going to attack the beast from a different angle.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to overpower this monster. I rather provide guidance so that people can be successful within this monster rather than, just being upset at, young men are still going to want to be in the NBA, whether I leave or not, millions of them. Yeah. So guiding them, helping them, providing something for them before and after the game, because that's one thing too. After the game, you see so many guys deal with depression and loss, and they can't find their purpose. And
My gosh. Yes. I
yeah,
don't mean
so
to interrupt you, but I
yeah,
just listened to an interview from she was a basketball wife. And
mm-hmm,
she said once they retire, they don't know what to do with themselves and they go into this deep depression
mm-hmm,
and
mm-hmm,
they lose it. Like, right? Like,
yeah,
what do I do with myself? And like the
right,
money's not coming in again, or maybe they didn't manage their money the right way and
right,
they were really dark. So they need somebody like you, to talk to them and help them through, I guess, or whatever.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, get that spark back, man. It just takes a little bit of practice, programming, some self-discipline, all the things that you've already used to become a successful athlete. You just
Yeah.
have to know how to transfer that and translate that into other things in life, business and
Yeah.
creativity.
Yeah. Yeah.
It is. It's learned behavior, but it's very learnable.
Are you still friends with anyone in the NBA? Like, do you have really good friends still there? Did you have good friends? Did you lean on anybody that was maybe
Yeah,
in the NBA like years before you? Did you have somebody like that?
yeah, I did. I had really good vets. Like I had like Corey Maggette,
Oh,
Keon Dooling, Drew
yeah.
Gooden. These are really, really solid guys who, just great. To this day, we still talk and communicate. I was their rookie, so they actually got to see me grow and make the choices I made and the steps. And those are the guys who are like, they really look at me and are really proud of me. They're
Yeah.
really, really proud of me because they know they saw everything we went through. They went through it with me. A lot of guys went through that with me. They went through the mistreating and the lack of attention and the punishment tactics and the mental warfare. They went through it all with me, so they know. They know.
Who puts you through that? Like the coaches, the owners, the does that to you?
You got to think. You have a coach, you have assistant coach, you have an owner, you have a general manager, a GM, you have an agent, You
Right.
have all these people over you with their own intentions, their own ideals, their own, you know what I mean?
Wow.
And they're trying to balance you, and they're trying to manage you, and they're trying to manipulate and sway you in this way and that way. And then guess what? They also have other clients and the other people. So then now they could be trying to sway you into a situation just because you're an add-on to a trade that they're trying to do in a whole nother state. And they want to throw you in there. So yeah, and, I've seen stuff like which really sucked. I was a player he had two very young daughters, like 2 years old, two and three, and they had an illness where they were hospitalized. And the hospital, they were in Chicago at the time, and they had one of the best places for them to go. And they just traded him off. They just traded him off. There's no consideration for his daughters. There's no consideration for, and he had to live in a different state from his daughters for years to be able to play. And they had to stay there.
While they were sick.
While they were sick. Yeah. So, it's just situations like that where,
so sad.
yeah, it sucks. It sucks. It sucks. But,
Did you
that's,
go ahead?
no, I would just say that's a little bit of the nature of the beast. I just see a lot of sacrifice when there isn't much return but money, and money can burn up. That's not, you can only take that so far. And if you don't have the financial literacy to actually make money, it doesn't even matter. I can give you as much money in the world, you're gonna give it all back. You're not gonna manage it.
Did you worry about finances when you made like some nice money in your tenure, but did you worry about like, I'm gonna walk away, I don't care about the money? And did you worry about it though? Like, how am I gonna continue to live the life that I'm living, or how am I gonna maintain,
I did to a certain extent. I think I'm a worker. I was an entrepreneur when I was a kid. I had a lawn service. I was selling lily dillies at my house. I had a backpack full of snacks that we would go to the Wholesome store. Yeah, my dad would take me to the Wholesome store, and they would be throwing away all the snacks because they about to expire, and I'd bag them up and sell them in school the next day.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just stuff like that. So I learned the game. My dad had me throwing out newspapers in the morning. So I know there's a million ways to make money.
Right.
You just gotta, you gotta be determined, some self-discipline, creativity. And I was excited about that. I was excited about being an entrepreneur. Like I said, I dove right into my passion work. I had an incubator, housing home to artists. I went gold. I cut a record with Drake and went gold within a year.
That was my next topic.
Oh yeah.
Now let's talk about that. Yeah. How did you? So basketball's done. You're past all of that. You got the help that you needed. You went into the music industry, right? Producing and of all people, Drake, with Party Next Door. Is that right?
Yes.
Party Next Door. Yeah. The Canadian R&B singer, first artist on Drake's label.
Right.
How did you get that connection? How did that all come together?
Crazy. So I started the incubator. I was housing these artists, and they're talented. One was an engineer, and he had been like doing an internship with OVO. And he was so talented that he became Party Next Door's. To this day, he's Party Next Door's main engineer. And so they were from Milwaukee. He was from Milwaukee. And so I'm like, y'all come stay here. And I'm learning. They're teaching me as, I'm providing this space for them. I got a studio in the back, and they're showing me all the programming. So they show me this program, and it's the first beat I make on this program because I'm used to a different program called Logic, and they had Fruity Loops. So I learned on Fruity, I make this beat because I just have all this energy piled up. I haven't made a beat in like 6 months. Finally can sit down and do it. I make the beat. I love it. I'm playing it around the people. I'm like, man, the only people I can hear on this song is Future and Party Next Door. That's what I was saying. Future and Party Next Door. Right. And I had high hopes. Everybody looking at me like, this is a nice beat, bro, but you kind of pushed it.
Yeah.
The engineer gets the beat to Party Next Door's hand. Drake sends the record back. Him on it. Nobody but Drake on the song. No Party Next Door, no anything. What? Yeah, that's the first record we got. And which I still got on my, I still got the record on my phone. And he a year later, the song comes out again, but it's Party Next Door on it, and it's on Party Next Door's album.
Right.
So what I'm thinking, what we believe, Drake cut the record, gave it to Party to put on his album, and it was summer 16. I don't know if anyone remembers, that was a summer that he was beefing with Meek Mill. So he kind of switched his whole genre for like 6 months. He was doing the R&B thing, like which was the track that we cut. All
Right.
of a sudden, it just went to like battle rap, and he started beefing with Meek Mill, and he made back to back Summer 16. And it was a
Yeah.
crazy summer. But then so I figured that's when the record kind of got pushed to Party Next Door, and we dropped and we went gold. So yeah.
Yeah, congratulations on that. That's crazy.
Thank you.
You're also in the fashion world, right? You let's talk about how you got into the fashion and all the people. You said you met a lot of people, and really that's kind of how you got started, and you created a business out of that as well. You were only doing jeans for tall guys, and then it turned into something else. Let's talk about that and how that how that was birthed.
Oh yeah. So Citizens of Matter was the incubator. And after I left and went to Cleveland and came back, I molded into a fashion line. So then it became like a fashion line, and I was doing custom denim. Custom denim for a tall athletic build, but then it was developing into like just custom denim in general. I was working with a tech company out of China that you could just take a picture of yourself and sit in. I would have your measurements, and I can make you a custom pair of jeans. And this was good for women, especially curvy women, because all you can just sit in and then a custom pair of jeans made to your figure. So this is right before the pandemic. We're developing this. I'm in talks. I got jean material, full line. I'm shooting stuff. Pandemic happens, and we all know that shut the border down. It just could kill my creative process. So I started writing. Writing scripts, movies, short films. I wrote a children's book that's on Amazon now. I just released it last week. Writing a self-help book. But I fell in love with writing. Like I was always loved to write and journal. But during the pandemic, I just really dove deep. I took a course called Writers Boot Camp. They taught me how to write scripts. I wrote a short film that I'm trying to get off the ground now. I wrote a full-length movie. That was the first thing I wrote, which was crazy. I spent the whole year writing a full-length movie, just put myself to work. But I have a great mentor, Craig Stiles, who's a great writer out of LA. So he's really helped me to develop my script writing. So so I love to do that, but I still do clothing. I still developing a line from my foundation, Sanders House. I'm doing a marijuana brand collab, a THCA, which is legal marijuana, which you can ship all over the country. I'm doing a collab with them and my brand Baked Goods.
They are, that's a good business to be in. As a matter of fact. So I saw that in there as well. And how's it going so far?
It's going great. More ways to be creative. I love it. I love to be creative. I love, to feel like I'm affecting the world in a positive way, especially if I'm getting some great products. I know how it feels when I can identify with and resonate with like a brand that touches me. So I like to provide that as well, it makes you feel better. So it's a good mental health staple right there.
Well, I'm glad to see that you are in a space that, like you're smiling and you seem happy. I don't know you, I just met you, but you just seem like a happy person. And so, that's a blessing. God knows his business, and he'll put you and set you up exactly where you need to be in your life. And it sounds like that's what you're doing. What are your plans? What do you see yourself, say, the next 3 years? Like, what's happening? What you got so much going on. What are your 3-year goals, 4-year goals?
Well, I really want to have a facility. I want to have a Sanders House where the youth can come and get mental health resources, on-site therapy, physical training, just a one-stop shop. Learn how, studio space, clothing development, writing, just the arts and the athletics and the mental all in one space. That's my dream. That's my dream. So I'm working I'm working toward that diligently. It just came from Art Basel, where I met a lot of Web3 people who gave me some great ideas of how to just get into the Web3 space with the NFTs, and attaching my brand to that. So creating that bigger community, that we can put the mental health, and we can put that on the blockchain and have people doing things for their mental health in the Web3 space, and getting help in that space as well. So it's just dope. It's an amazing place to be right now. But you gotta think, like, with technology growing like it is, they're like all the things with it are growing as well, which are like the bullying, the mental illnesses that come with that. It's at an all-time high right now. So you have to counteract that, with even more services and even more resources.
Right. Well, listen, I wish you nothing but the best, nothing but the best. Your story is interesting. I can't wait to share with other people. Like you said, and nothing's wrong with going into the NBA. Nothing's wrong with going into the entertainment world, but know what you're know about the business. And I think a lot of failure comes from the not knowing.
Yeah, lack of education. Mm-hmm.
Yes, lack of education. So go ahead and tell the people how we can find your book, like how we can stay connected to you and follow you, so we can see your business come to fruition, where you have this place with all these entities in there. So Black Link Magazine may come and cover and visit you, and have it in the magazine when it happens.
That'd be dope. Well, I have a live podcast show that I do, radio show every Monday, at 4:00 Eastern time. And we talk mental health. We talk financial freedom. We talk just growth and development. I've had different professionals from all walks just come and talk about their mental development, things they're doing, from screenwriters to doctors to athletes, to financial professionals. So it's dope. So yeah, it's called So Sanders Says is the podcast, and it's on every platform, but you can check it out, all the episodes on my website, and that's ssxpdc.com.
That's good. Okay, we'll put that on our website so people can.
Okay, awesome.
And then on all social media sites, where can we find you?
Oh, @Larry Sanders is my handle for Instagram. Late Show, The Great, LATSHOWTHA Great. That's on Twitter. That's on X. And then just Larry Sanders on Facebook.
Okay. All right, you guys, we're going to go for now. Thank you for tuning in. You guys go out and follow Larry. Larry, congratulations on all that you do for taking a stand and taking care of yourself. That's what's first. And for affecting other people's lives and trying to make their lives better as well. You guys, we're going to go for now, but remember, respect yourself, respect each other. God bless.
God bless.